Whether your spouse has told you that they're no longer happy, or you're simply suspecting that they may soon call it quits, I'm here to tell you that you can single-handedly save your marriage. My name is Brad Browning. I'm a relationship coach, marriage expert, and author of the best-selling Mend the Marriage program. Over the years, I've worked with many individuals wanting to save their marriage, and one thing I've repeatedly encountered is the common belief that one spouse can't do it alone. Well, I'm here to tell you otherwise. In fact, I've seen many marriages saved when one of the partners takes action, even if the other has refused to keep trying. So today I'm going to share with you 4 ways to save your marriage on your own. Step 1, accept the situation. It's perfectly normal to have a hard time accepting that your spouse feels the way they do. And a common reaction is trying to convince them that things can get better. However, this is actually the worst thing you can do in your situation. As tempting as it may be, crying and begging for your spouse to give your marriage another chance will not change their mind. Reacting to the news angrily also won't help. Since your spouse is already past the point of believing that change is possible, your desperation will have no impact on them. Instead, these types of reactions, they just generally make you appear weak and out of control. So if you do want to save your marriage, you're not going to get there through pity, cruel words, or dramatic actions. It's okay for your spouse to know that you're upset about the situation, but it's more important for them to know that you have control of your feelings. So to save your marriage, you need to accept the situation and acknowledge that you played a role in creating your marital problems. Step 2, build resilience. Once you've overcome the initial shock and accepted the situation at hand, then you need to create a plan to save your marriage. Start by building strategies to take care of yourself and find a way to maintain a positive outlook. If you can do this, then you'll eliminate one of the things you don't want to do. Give your spouse another reason to want to leave you. Focus on staying positive, maintaining your dignity, and taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, and mentally. Everyone has a different way of doing this, but find what works for you and manage your emotions. And if you're interested in learning more about managing your emotions and developing an action plan to save your marriage, please visit my website, marriageguy.com, and watch the full-length video presentation. I also offer one-on-one coaching, so if you're interested in finding more about it and see my current availability, please visit marriageguy.com/coaching. And I'll be sure to put both those URLs in the video description below as well. And on to step number 3, commit to change. You know that popular saying, be the change you want to see? Well, that's exactly what you need to do to save your marriage. Start by looking closely at your behavior in the relationship. Ask yourself in which ways you can change to create positive responses from your spouse and what behavioral habits your spouse reacts negatively to. Whether you know it or not, you and your spouse communicate in a revolving stimulus, a response pattern, if you will. What you do and say is the stimulus. Your partner's reaction is the response. And then you react to their reaction and so on. And the same thing occurs when your partner does or says something. Over time, the two of you have developed a pattern of habitual actions and reactions. When the stimulus changes, the response will also change. So this means that changing your behavior will impact your partner's reaction and overall will change the entire relationship. So for example, if you have developed a habit of speaking disrespectfully to your spouse, for example, they'll also have developed a kind of reaction or coping mechanism. So if you stop acting disrespectfully, then your partner won't need to use that coping mechanism. And if this happens enough, a new pattern of behaviors is going to emerge. And assuming the new actions and reactions are positive, the relationship is going to take a turn for the better. Once you create positive interactions with one another, you can begin working on resolving your marital issues. And by the way, if you have any questions about behavioral patterns or would like to just share your experience, please feel free to post in the comments section below this video. I always do my best to respond to each of you. All right, and on to step 4, dedicate yourself to the task. You and your partner are the only 2 people in this whole world who really know what goes on in your relationship. And you also know what the biggest problems are for you personally, and you know the changes that need to be made to save your marriage. So determine where your biggest issues lie so that you can dedicate yourself to resolving these matters. And remember that initially, you'll be doing all the work. I know it may not seem fair, but you're the one who believes in your marriage and wants to save it. It may not be easy, and sometimes your progress may slip along the way, but if you do dedicate yourself to the task, you'll eventually start to have small successes and it will get easier. And best of all, once you make some changes, your spouse will begin to engage and will become more willing to assist with reviving your marriage, and you can work on that together from that point onwards. All right, and before I wrap up this video, I want to remind you that your partner's unwillingness to participate in saving your marriage is not a handicap. In fact, working alone can actually be more immediate and more effective than working together. And since you're the one calling the shots and making the changes, you won't be wasting time trying to get your spouse to cooperate. So for now, just hang in there and don't give up. Well, that's about it for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to learn more about how to reconnect with your spouse, please head over to my website and watch the full-length video presentation. Again, the URL is marriageguide.com. I'd also really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel here on YouTube if you found this video helpful. All right, that's it for now. We'll talk to you again soon.